Welcome to Chair Yoga today, and today we've got a high heat index, probably in the 90s, and it's warm and muggy. So it's important when we get different types of weather patterns that we adjust our yoga accordingly. So today's class will be gentler and a little milder, a little slower, and we'll do some special breathing techniques that are designed to help cool the body down. So find a comfortable seat on the edge of your chair, align your knees, ankles, hips, shoulders rolled back and relaxed. Nice relaxed shoulders, palms face up. And in today's class, we want to keep this sense of relaxation as the body warms up. Let the eyes close for a moment. And just notice if you can feel any cool air at all in your environment, any breeze. You might have your AC on, you might have a fan on, or an open window. And feel that cool breeze against the skin, and if you don't have a cool breeze, just feel the texture of the air against your skin without judging it. Without judging it. What's it like simply to feel the air against the skin without rating it as good, bad, hot, cold, comfortable, uncomfortable? Just feeling it as a direct experience. And we're going to start with the cooling breath technique today. If at any time your mouth starts to feel too dry, you can stop the technique and change the technique to nasal breathing. So let me show you the default breath that helps cool the body down through the nose. Simply bring your hand up to your face and gently plug the right nostril with your thumb. So you're not squeezing the side of the nose, you're simply covering the right nostril, breathing in and out of the left nostril. And it is said that breathing in and out of the left nostril helps cool the body. Now, a contraindication for this would be if your left nostril is blocked, then you would not do this technique. So take 3 more breaths, just noticing how your left nostril feels today. And then release the technique, breathing in through both nostrils. So breathing in through the left nostril, in and out of the left nostril, is our backup breathing technique today if the mouth gets a little dry or a little uncomfortable breathing in through the mouth. Now, it's not common for me to teach mouth breathing, but this is a special yoga breath technique designed to cool the body down. So it's called tunnel tongue breathing. And you might remember making a little tunnel tongue as a kid, where you stick your tongue out and you create a little circular tunnel. So let's try that. And as the tongue remains sticking out, breathe in through the tongue. Now when you've breathed in through the tongue, pause, close the mouth, bring the tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth, and breathe out through the nose. Breathe in through the tunnel tongue. Breathe out through the nose. Nice and slowly. Breathe in through the tongue. Out through the nose. Now I also know not everybody can do a tunnel tongue. That's okay. If you can't do a tunnel tongue, make a big smile, and in the smile gently touch the teeth together, very gently, and breathe in through the teeth, and you might hear a little hissing sound. As you breathe out, bring the tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth and breathe out through the nose. So try that again. In through the teeth, out through the nose. Nice and slowly. So it's a little bit like the cooling principle of a dog panting with its tongue out. As it pants, it draws the air in through over the tongue into the mouth, cooling the body down. So we're doing a similar principle, except we're not panting, we're breathing in nice and slowly. And if your mouth starts to get dry, you can hydrate. Pause and hydrate, have a drink of water, or you can come to the left nostril breathing. So we're going to be here for another 10 breaths or so, using one of the cooling breath techniques. I'm going to use tunnel tongue. Breathing very gently and very slowly. And I can feel the cool air on the roof of my mouth as I breathe in. And I feel like it is working. I'm feeling the core of my body starting to cool down. 5 more breaths if you can. One more breath. Now this kind of breathing is a very gentle, relaxing breath. Come back to your normal breathing and just notice the impact of that pranayama today. Now at any time through the rest of the practice, and sometimes I will guide you back into one of your cooling breaths. You can come into the cooling breath, or you can stay with the nose breath. A lot of our cooling poses in yoga are called moon poses. So today we'll be opening up the side body. Let's bring the hands out so you open up the arms, you feel the air under the arms. Inhale, reach up, look up, and then slowly exhale, drop the hands down, and just drop the chin down. Inhale, lift the hands up, look up. Exhale, float the hands down. Now as we move slowly, you might even feel the cool air against your skin. Even the movement of your arms through the air might create a little cooling effect. So for the next 3 arm movements, I'm going to come back to my cooling breath, inhaling in through the tongue. Last one. Exhaling, floating the hands down. Now, just like I opened the arms out to the side, now I'm going to open the legs out to the side. Nice wide sumo squat, so I have plenty of openness in the front of the body. And I'm going to do this one for my twists today. So arms extended. And then bring the hands behind the head. So there's a little hands behind the head, elbows extended, armpits open, and exhale, just turn to the left. Inhale, neutral. Exhale, turn to the right. So it's not a deep twist. Inhale, neutral. Exhale, turn. Continue on, moving very slowly in your twist with the arms extended and above your head, behind your head. And at any time you need to bring the arms down to rest, you can. And see if you can move the elbows a little bit more through space. So it's not just the head turning, but it's the upper body, the torso. And the next time you come to center, pause, float the hands down beside you. Keeping the feet wide today, inhale, lift that left hand into the air. And then rock to the right side, just gently leaning over to the right side, opening up that left side of the body. Inhale, come to neutral. Exhale, drop the left hand. Inhale, reach the right arm up. Drop the ear towards the shoulder and then lean towards the left, opening up that right rib cage. Now go slowly here from side to side. So you might have a breath in between, a cooling breath. Let's do a cooling breath between lateral flexions of the spine. So inhale through the tongue, teeth, or left nostril. Exhale, come to a lateral shift. Come back to neutral. Inhale, cooling breath. Exhale, other side. So you can see I'm going much slower than I would in a normal class. I'm still getting the same stretch, but I'm cooling the body down as much as I can in today's class through these type of stretches and the cooling breath. Now in between my cooling breaths, I breathe in and out of the nose. Come back to the normal breath. And that way I'm keeping the mouth from overly getting dry. So I'm sharing the breath between the nose and then alternating cooling breath through the tongue. Now you might be moving faster than me, and that's okay. You might be moving slower than me, and that's okay. So we're all moving at the speed that's going to help cool our body, stretch our body without overheating the body. And so you'll see a lot of lateral movement in today's class. Come back to neutral. And then open the left leg out to the left. And I always say, if you can get a nice 90-degree angle here, so the knee is 90. I'm lucky that the height of my chair is right at knee level. So I'm very lucky with the height of my chair. That's exactly how I want it. My foot is flat on the floor. Now, if you're very tall and your knee was kind of up in the air like this, what I would recommend is you sit on a cushion. Or if your knee was dropped all the way down like this, I would recommend you put your foot on a block. Start to heel toe the right leg into a straight extension to that right side. So we recognize warrior 2 legs here. So I get a nice stretch in the internal thighs. The body is open at the front. And I'm simply going to inhale, lift the hands up above the head. And then exhale, drop them down to the side. Just floating the arms up, above the head. Feeling the arms move through space. Nice and slowly to avoid overheating the body. And every now and then I'm going to turn and look towards the left, towards that bent knee. And I'm throwing in the occasional cooling breath through my mouth. Now the next time you float the arms up, keep that left arm up, drop the right arm down behind you and start to lean back towards that straight leg. So really opening up that left side of the body. And then exhale, releasing that left hand down. If you have a block handy, I'm going to recommend you grab a block. And I'm going to take the block so it's standing up onto its tall setting. I'm going to drop it right down on the ground and lean into the block and lift my right arm up and over. Now let's say you don't have a block. You could lean your left elbow on your thigh like this. So either way, either on the block or elbow on the thigh. I like the block, it's a little different today. Inhale, float that arm back. Bring both hands to the chair. Gently release the legs, take your time. Close the eyes. And notice how gently we're stretching the body today. Trying to maintain a little coolness, not overheating the body, not moving too quickly. Notice your breathing. Every now and then, try a cooling breath. This time I'm going to do left nostril breathing before I do the other side. So my thumb gently blocking the right nostril. Breathing in and out of the left nostril. The next time you exhale, release the breathing technique. And notice those first few breaths where you're breathing in through both nostrils. Let's open the right hip. So once again, establishing the knee over the ankle. Now I know I go over this over and over again, but this technique, getting our technique right, is really helpful to look after the joints. Knee over ankle, foot flat, 90 degrees. Start to heel toe the left leg into a straight. I'll move my block so you can see it. In fact, I'm going to use this block on this side later on, so I'll bring it over. Left leg extended. I'm feeling that nice internal stretch in the thighs. A little more conscious this time of bringing my left shoulder back, so as if I'm trying to look over my back shoulder. And then looking straight ahead, I'm going to do the arm raises. Inhale, lifting the arms up slowly, and then down slowly. Every now and then alternating with the cooling breath. And every now and then turning the head to the right just to feel the neck rotation. Now the next time you lift, pause. Keeping that right arm in the air, drop the left arm behind you towards the back leg and lean back into that leg. Coming into our reverse warrior. Inhale, come back to neutral. And this time reaching for the block or leaning the right elbow on the thigh. I have my hand on the block. Left hand comes up and over. So you can see the side body nice and open here, not all curled up. And not doing so many back bends today. Not doing so many back bends. Back bends tend to warm us up. We will do some, but not a lot. Float back. Drop the hands to the chair and relax. And relax. Grab the knees, feet fairly wide. And we're just going to do some slow hip circles. Very slow. Orbiting the torso around the hips. Releasing the back, releasing the waist. And you might even try a few circles with your cooling breath. See how that works. Inhaling through the teeth. Exhaling through the nose. The next time you come to vertical, pause. And then reverse direction. Turning the torso in the opposite direction. The thing I like about breathing through the teeth is it creates a nice hissing sound, so you get the sound of the snake breath. and then pause, and then pause. Grab the chair. Now when I say grab the chair, I mean grab the seat of the chair behind you. Push your hips right to the edge and straighten the legs out, toes curled back. So we're getting that nice calf muscle stretch. You can even lean back if you like and rest into the back of the chair while you stretch the back of the legs. You can lift your chin up gently if that feels comfortable. You could keep your chin neutral, or you could drop your chin towards your chest, or you could move it like a head nod, up and down. And whatever you do with your head, just keep the toes curled back so you get that long stretch through the back of the legs. And then exhale, come up. Now we haven't done a piriformis stretch for a long time, so hopefully this is available to you today. So we start with straight legs. You might need a strap. I'll bring a strap over just in case, just to demonstrate. And don't worry if you don't have a strap, you can always use a towel or something. So I start by crossing the left ankle over the right ankle. And the goal here is to slide that left ankle up above the knee joint. That's my goal. Now I know some people with hip injuries can't do that, so that might be where you hold it with your strap. So you kind of support it with your strap. Now, if that ankle comes above the knee, the next stage is to bend the right knee. So you're supporting your figure 4 crossed legs on the front of your chair. So your strap is there for backup if you need it. Otherwise, you can let the strap go and let the figure 4 just rest there. Now the way we get stretch sensation into the left hip, left thigh is simply by grabbing the knee, grabbing the strap or the foot, and just hinging forward slowly and then coming back. So it's like you're rocking forwards and backwards on a little boat. You come forward, you feel more sensation, and then you come back to take the sensation off. So just moving gently, finding the range of motion that's always pain-free. If it's too much pain, you might just nod the head, drop the head, and then lift the head. Drop the head, and lift the head. So that's going to be good for our cervical spine. And also, as the head drops forward, it adds a little bit of momentum or gravity shift into the hip. I'm going to continue to nod forward. This time I'm going to remain forward. So as I hinge and remain forward, I sustain the stretch through that left thigh. Good. Slowly come up. Now keeping your left hand on the right hand on the strap of the foot, take your left hand behind you and come into a little twist while you hold the figure 4. So you're looking towards the left side of your chair. Now how deeply you twist is up to you. The deeper I twist, I start to push against the foot rather than hold onto it. I'm using my right hand to leverage and help me turn deeper into the twist. Excellent. Nice head posture. Good. Now slowly unwind, and we're going to try and twist to the opposite direction. So this time my left hand is going to come over towards my foot. My right hand comes back and I turn towards the right side of the chair. Couple of cooling breaths here. Now my twists aren't so super deep because I'm trying to keep the body cool today. Release, we're going to twist each side again and add the neck. So left hand back, right hand leverages against the foot. Now while my torso is turning to the left, slowly rotate the head to the right. So my head is turning the opposite direction. Yeah, that's it. And then slowly bring the head to neutral, release the hand, and we're going to twist to the opposite direction. Right hand back on the seat, left hand reaches for the foot, torso turns towards the right, and then exhale the head to the left. So now the head is turning towards the bent knee. Inhale the head to neutral. Release the twist, release the leg. So the foot comes back down to the ground, and then slowly extend the legs out in front of you and lean back once again. Just stretch out through the back of the legs, resting against the back of your chair. Taking a few cooling breaths here. And then keeping the legs extended, bring the torso forward, cross the right ankle over the left. Once again, if you want your strap handy, you can. Sliding the right ankle up, preferably above the knee if you can. If you can't, support it with a strap. Slowly bend the left knee, and I can see clearly my right hip, which is actually my left because I'm mirroring it, is much tighter. My knee is up a lot higher this side. So there's a big difference in my hips here. So holding foot and knee, I'm going to start my forward and backward rocking on this hip. And just enough to get sensation, feel the piriformis, feel the thigh. I don't need too much sensation, just enough. Maybe some head nods if head nods help. And then exhale, coming forward, holding the weight forward now. I'm going to do some teeth breathing, some snake breath. Continuing the theme of cooling down. And then slowly coming up. So creating some hip twists here. Keep that left hand on the left foot. Right hand comes onto the chair and bring the right shoulder back. Keeping the head over the shoulders, nice and tall posture. Maybe 1 or 2 cooling breaths here. Could even come a little deeper. Exhale, release to center. And now I'm going to rotate the other way. So bring my right hand down to the foot. Bring my left hand back on the chair, turning to the left side. So I'm using my right hand now to leverage against my foot. That helps deepen my thoracic twist. Bring the head to neutral, gently unwind. We're going to twist again to that right side, so prepare for that twist. Bring the right shoulder back, left shoulder forward. And this time turning the head in the opposite direction. The head turns to the left. Few cooling breaths here. Bring the head to neutral. Bring the torso to neutral. We have one more twist, this time to the left side. And the head rotates to the right. Bring the head to neutral. Release the hands. Grab the back of the chair with your hands, the seat. Extend the legs and lean back once again, straightening out. And maybe this time even bringing the hands up over the head, like the whole body is stretching out. Legs go forward, arms go back. Exhale, release. Bring the hands back to the chair. Now this might be a little bit heating, but I've got a feeling it's good to release our ankle joints a little bit. So with the ankle joint, lift and hold the left leg up. So my arms are holding the left leg up. This is where I might get a little bit hot, but let's start with some pointing and flexing of the toe. Stretching the foot into plantar and dorsiflexion. And then we'll just add a little bit to that. Straighten the leg, point and flex. Bend the knee, keep holding the leg if you can, take a rest if you need to, and rotate the foot with a bent knee. Rotate the other way. And as before, straighten the leg and rotate the foot. And then the other way. Bend the knee, release the leg. Lean onto your thighs, elbows on the thighs. So just a gentle forward fold today, keeping the elbows on the thighs. But let's do some head nods. Drop the chin to the chest. Lift the chin up. Keep going in your own pace. Exhale down. Inhale up. Go slowly, just feeling out the back of your neck. Now try to bring your head to neutral. So your chin is not on the chest, but it's not lifted up. Look left. Inhale, neutral. Look right. And keep shaking the head left and right. About the speed of your breathing. Exhale, turn. Inhale, neutral. Exhale, turn the other way. So you might be moving fast or slow. I'm going to recommend moving slowly today. Now the next time you turn your head to the left, keep your head turned to the left, but nod the head. Drop the chin down towards your left shoulder and then lift it up. So your head stays turned to the left as you gently nod the head. Let's do 3 on each side. If you haven't already brought the head to neutral, bring it to neutral. Turn the head to the other side. And start your slow nods on the other side. Bring the head to neutral, bring it back to center, walk the hands back along the legs. Lean back, straighten the legs, give the back of the legs a nice stretch. Hands behind the head this time. Push the head back into the hands. Bend the knees, come and sit up. Grab the opposite thigh with your hands. So I'm grabbing my right thigh this time, and start with pointing and flexing the foot with the knee bent. Feel out the other ankle today. Let's try circles. First in one direction and then the other. Let's try that same sequence with the leg extended, so point and flex. And rotate. Get that nice experience in the ankle joint. Rotate the other way. And then release, let that shin dangle. Release the leg. Straighten the legs once again, leaning back. Bring the hands up over the head. Bring the hands down, bend the knees. Now I'm thinking about Shavasana. However, the thing with Shavasana, at least on the chair, is it may get a little warm because there's a cushion behind your back. So let's explore this. If you've got a nice, cool, wet towel that you can put back there, that could be fun. But I'm going to try my bolster behind my back. My blocks here for my feet. That's it. So I'll turn sideways so you can see what it looks like sideways. And some people who are watching this video might even do Shavasana on the floor. I won't go through that method today, but if you know Shavasana on the floor, you can. Now notice how I slide my hips forward so I can really lean back. So I'm a little bit like an astronaut here, leaning back into the rocket ship. Now I want my palms face up, but this time I want a little bit of space under the elbows. I don't want my elbows tightly packed into the ribs here. I want to keep a little bit of space under the arms to keep them cool. And today we're going to use the power of imagination to cool us down. We're going to start with the toes. So bring your attention all the way down to your toes. So you feel the toes on the left foot, and the toes on the right foot. Now spread the toes widely apart and either feel the cool air between the toes or imagine there's a cool breeze between your toes. And so the toes start to become like little cool ice blocks. And imagine the coolness in the toes starts to travel back into the bottom of the foot, into the toe pads, the ball of the foot, and the ball of the foot cools right up to the top of the foot, through the bones, and the cooling travels further into the arch of the foot. And you can imagine the arch of the foot cooling and coming up to the top of the foot, to the top of the arch. Flooding back into the ankle joints. So the top of the foot comes back into the ankle joints, and the bottom of the foot comes into the heel bones. And when the feet feel cooler, take 3 or 4 cooling breaths through the tongue or the teeth. And each time you inhale, imagine the inhale is pulling the coolness up the legs. You're releasing the heat from the nose as you exhale. And the tongue pulls the coolness from the feet up through the shins, calf muscles, around the knee joints. Until everything from the knees down feels cooler. And then just a little more cooling as you draw the coolness from the knees up through the thighs, through the top of the thighs, the quadriceps. The sides of the thighs, the outside. The abductors, the inside of the thigh, the adductors. And then the bottom of the thighs, the hamstrings. So all the big muscle groups from the knee to the hips. Cooling down, and their coolness all meets in the bones, in the femur, in the upper bone of the leg. So our legs, our lower limbs are cool. And the coolness moves into our hips. Cools down our hips, the glutes, the hip flexors, and even the bones of the hips start to cool down. So from the hips all the way down to the feet, there's a freshness, coolness. And as you continue to breathe in, pulling the air up from the hips into the belly, you might even do some cooling breaths here. Into the belly. So the belly is one of the warmest parts of the body. It's very warm around the belly where all our digestion takes place. Let the belly cool down to just the right temperature. Just cooling the body, not making it cold, simply cooling it down. And the belly is the beginning of our core. So we want to cool our core down here, the low back, all around the waist. And then we start to feel the warmth of the heart and the lungs, the rib area. Just check down in the feet once again to see if the feet need to recool, to send more coolness up through the legs, into the hips, into the belly, into the side body, the back body. So we can take it now up into the heart and lungs, cooling down the chest and the back. And we also know how warm it gets under the arms, between the arms and the ribs, the armpits. Draw that coolness into these very warm parts of the body. And then bring your attention to the fingers. Fingers of the left hand and the right hand. Just like the toes, the fingers can cool down very quickly. The air between the fingers. And the coolness of the fingers travels into the hands, up into the wrists, into the elbows. Right back up into the shoulders. So now we have coolness traveling up through all four limbs, all converging in the throat, cooling the throat. And all that coolness traveling up through the brain stem into the brain, cooling our brains. And as the brain cools, it sends the coolness out to the eyes, the skull, the teeth. So the whole top of the head becomes cool. And you may even find that you no longer need to use the cooling breath to cool down. ask at the end of your practice, noticing how you feel stretched out and cooled down. And you can remain in this cool place, or you can start to adjust and transition by straightening the body or stretching. And just feeling how you feel at the end of practice today. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.